it really changes you as a human being. It really puts you in touch with other people around you, with nature. It makes you more loving, more empathetic, more compassionate. It brings clarity in your life, and it changes you fundamentally, at the core. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Monica here from Consulting Monica. So we're back here in the forest. Hope we're not gonna catch a bear. So I've been getting some requests about my experience in India, and I want to talk about that a little bit because apparently a lot of people are very curious about it. So I'm gonna make a video about that. So as you know, or some of you who don't know, I'm a volunteer for Isha Foundation, and I've been volunteering for them for a couple of years. And I've been doing this spirituality program that they do every year for people. And basically it consisted in staying there for 6 months, where you have access to certain yogic practices that you can do. So I want to talk a little bit about that. So as you go there, basically, like I said, you learn a lot of practices. You're on a complete vegan food, which is very good for detoxification of your system. They only have like 2 meals a day though, so that can be a little challenge. It was for me, definitely, because we were eating like at 10 a.m. and 8 p.m. and you were doing practices in the meantime. And you also do, like in any other temple for that matter, you do some volunteering work. Volunteering work means, like, theoretically they regard your skills and they give you something that fits your skills, but not necessarily. So it might be you're going to work whatever it's going to be needed for the rest of the other people, for the whole temple, for everybody who lives there. That could be cutting vegetables, or taking care of plants or trees or something like that. So it's very challenging. It was a very challenging program. But at the same time, they had like their religious temples there, which were incredible, and I experienced some amazing things. So that can be pretty challenging, but I definitely recommend it. It's an unbelievable transformation. And yes, like any transformation, it's not going to be like, having a nice, comfortable joyride, okay? It's not going to be like that. So I suggest that everybody should do that. I want to do it at least once a year. Of course, you don't have to go for a 6 months program. You can also, they have a temple, an ashram in India. They have one in USA. And they have one in UK too, although it's closed now due to COVID, but I assume they're going to open it. You can also go to Isha Foundation as a general volunteer. And now if you are willing to pay some money for an accommodation, you can be alone in the room, and it's not very expensive. Or you can be in a common dormitory, which I don't recommend, with a couple of hundreds other people. But if you're very sociable and comfortable with and used to living with other people, you can do that too. So I think that this kind of transformation really it's not something that I can explain to you in a video, it's something that you have to go there and see for yourself. And if that's too far from you, you can go to any other kind of temple, depending your religion. I'm sure they all have pretty much the same system, but just being in a space like that for a couple of months a year, even 1 month a year, and imbibing that kind of energy, and eating vegan food, and detoxifying your body, and doing some kind of yoga practices if possible, or whatever your religion teaches you to do, it really changes you as a human being. It really puts you in touch with other people around you, with nature. It makes you more loving, more empathetic, more compassionate. it brings clarity in your life, and it changes you fundamentally, at the core. Like whatever projects that you have in your life, whether it's a business or a career or whatever it is, whatever goals you have, these kind of experiences really make you more apt for that. They train you, because any project that you're doing, fundamentally you need to conquer your limitations so that you're better prepared for that project, right? So that's what being in an ashram does to you, and the connection that you have with the other people, and how you learn to basically, that's what yoga means. You learn to experience the people and everything, nature, and basically like the whole creation as a part of yourself. You learn to be more in tune with everything that's around you. And once you get to do that, you can fly through life with effortless, and you can do projects effortless. And especially the practices that I learned there, they really changed my life. I've been doing practices with them for a couple of years though. I really recommend you do them. Now, if you don't have money to invest in this, you can start with the free practices from their website. I'm going to put them in this video, and that's how I started. And then they have intermediate practices, which, they cost some money, but it's nothing that somebody can't afford, even with a job. I mean, it's quite easy to do, and they do it throughout Europe. Now with COVID, they do it less. They don't really do programs now, but you certainly have local teachers who teach there, from Isha Foundation, who teach there, and you can do it with them, because they do it in the COVID times too. They also have advanced practices, which they only used to do before COVID once a year in Europe, and an even more advanced practice which you can only do there at the temple in USA or in India, because they're very, very, dangerous to do it on your own. So, I really recommend you to start these kind of practices, because they change your life, and the transformation is so amazing. I can't even put it into words. And I've experienced this, and I'm not saying this like I'm some religious fanatic, or I'm a Buddhist now, or a Hinduist, It's not a religion, it's not a belief. It's just that I've started doing the practices, and I saw what they did to me. And I'm not joking, I mean, they took me like in 2 to 3 years, right, of this. And of course with lots of videos and books and volunteering, and I've been involved into multiple activities. But even so, it took me from, I was Googling, it took me from severe depression and anxiety, and I was very introverted, to now I'm so loving and compassionate within myself and with the people around me, that I'm even compelled to put it out there for you guys, right? And it really took me from that point to the point where I can meditate in the morning and just burst into tears of joy and love and devotion. And it's an amazing feeling, and how you perceive the world, and how intense everything is for me. Like, I could just watch a flower and be so joyful to have that experience that I'm going to start crying. And it sounds illogical and non-realistic, and it is. It's not logical, and it shouldn't happen like that. But for me, that's what the practices did. So definitely, I really recommend them. I'm gonna put here a link to the practices, so that you can have access to them. You can start with the free ones, and also with the ashrams. And I really recommend you to do this at least once a year. If you can't go so far to a temple, go to a temple where you live in the area. If you can't do that, at least do something for yourself in that regard. Like, any religion calendar nowadays, they have like some sort of feasting twice a year. You can try that to detoxify yourself, It's amazing. And some kind of prayers, I'm sure they have. The point is to get your system to such a point where you are more perceptive to life, because that's what feasting does, or vegan food. that's the whole point of it, you know. They don't do it because it sounds cool. They do it because it makes your system more perceptive to spirituality. You know, it's like if you have a radio and you want to catch some frequency, you need an antenna. That's what yoga is. That's what these practices do. That's what the food that they eat does. So do that for yourself at least twice a year. You know, like 3 months or whatever you can do. But do it for yourself, because it's going to change your life, and it's an amazing transformation. And I recommend it to everyone. So that's what I wanted to talk to you about, my experience in India. That's what it was for me. And yeah, I hope it serves you well. Oh my goodness, someone's having a lot of fun here. And yeah, if you have any other kind of questions about India and my experience there and what it can be for you and what it can do for you, please write me. I will attach my Facebook page here too at the end of this video in the description. So have a great weekend, guys. Take care. Love ya. Bye bye.